SBR Forum videos. I'm Peter Loshak. It's the Wednesday after Super Bowl Sunday, so that means we're going to start right in analyzing baseball futures odds for the upcoming baseball season, and we're going to start it with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, who of course covers every sport and is at his current peak in handicapping. Joe, would you say that's accurate?
I've had a pretty darn good career, but yeah, we continue to refine my theory, so I think we'll just keep getting better and we're rolling with the changes.
All right, well, before we start analyzing these futures odds, just give a quick plug for OffshoreInsiders.com. Tell us how things went during football season and how things are going right now during basketball season and looking ahead to baseball.
No, it was a great football season, preseason through the Super Bowl. Basketball, we really picked it up right around mid-January, late January, and baseball, we continue to get better. Our peak in baseball was before the steroid era because we felt that the offense was a lot less fluid. The steroid era kind of threw that up. Now that it's over, we've gotten back, came off of one of our best finishes second half of last year than ever. Our old metrics are working again at offshoreinsiders.com.
Sounds great. Let's get right in with these futures odds for the AL East. Now, most places don't have futures odds up right now. Pinnacle, most places don't, but Bet365 has posted futures odds to win the pennant. So we can extrapolate from those odds who's the favorite to win each division. We'll start with the AL East. You know, Boston, of course, World Series defending champ. They are the slight favorite, apparently, to win the AL East. Right now, Bet365 has them at plus 550 to win the American League pennant. Then the Yanks are the very close second choice at plus 650 to win the American League pennant. Then you have Toronto at 1050, Tampa Bay at 1200, and Baltimore at 1350. What do you make of those odds? You think that Boston should be the favorite to repeat to at least win the division?
No, I mean, Boston was a team that last year a lot of things went right. It was kind of a perfect storm. Remember, they lost Jacob Ellsbury during the offseason last year, Ortiz, Napoli, and of course, Uehara. The three guys that have had a history of being injured, they were able to stay healthy all last year. And honestly, based on their track record, I don't know if those three key players are going to be able to stay as healthy as they were last year. Uehara, it was uncanny that, he's had more than his share of injuries. Can his arm stay healthy again this year? For Boston to repeat, they're going to have some good fortune, especially when it comes to health, that they did last year. So I wouldn't make them the favorites. The Yankees, they do what the Yankees do. They spent a ton of money in the offseason. They rebuilt. They're trying to kind of repeat what happened in 2009, where they missed the playoffs in 2008, then came back and won the World Series. And they wound up buying it. They got the prized Japanese player, Tanaka, Jacob Ellsbury. We said that he was the key acquisition. Brian McCann, they took him from our Atlanta Braves. How much he'll catch, how much he'll be a DH, that remains to be seen. Heck of a hitter. I don't know how many games he'll be able to catch this year. Carlos Beltran, Kelly Johnson. So, of course, Jeter, Teixeira, they're hoping they're going to be healthy. I think the Yankees are going to buy their way back to the National League East title. And keep in mind, well, much like Boston, but come trade deadline, they can certainly afford to be a buyer. So probably some of the guys that are going to lead the Yankees to the pennant this year aren't even on the team yet. So I would make the Yankees as the favorite in the NL East.
Toronto right now is a third choice, way down at plus 1050 to win the pennant. And Toronto did have high expectations last year, and they kind of fell flat. But they still had the number 7 bullpen ERA in all of baseball. Maybe they're the team with the best value out of all 5.
Yeah, no, and remember, Jose Bautista and Jose Reyes, those were guys who were injured last year. They missed a ton of time. Melky Cabrera is probably a better player than he showed last year. One of the reasons that I've had my success in baseball, and I said so in the steroid era, it dropped off a little bit because the offense became a little bit less predictable. I always say that when you invest so much in pitching, you just never know. Pitching is that at the end of the year, the biggest disappointments and the biggest bust are disproportionately pitchers. So the fact that Toronto, they spent all that money on pitching and it didn't work out that well, wasn't necessarily a huge shock, but they've got some talent there. And as I said, if Burley and Dickey can kind of regress to their mean, return to their form, They are a great long shot.
All right, and then what's your take on Tampa Bay? You know, Tampa Bay is currently, according to Bet365, the fourth choice in the American League East. But, you know, last year they made the playoffs. They won 92 games, right? They won 7 more games than the Yanks and Baltimore. They won only 5 fewer games than Boston. 2 years ago, they had one of the best bullpens in baseball. Last year, their bullpen ERA was ranked number 18. But still, you know, they're coming off a year where they came in second place. They won 92 games, and yet they're the fourth choice in the American League East. What do you make of that?
Yeah, and those people who love pitching and defense, obviously they were shopping around David Price. As of this recording, he's still on the team. Most people believe that he will be with Tampa this year. I think that the best offenses are from top to bottom, but as far as a 1-2-3 punch with Will Myers, David DeJesus, Evan Longoria, they've got a tough middle of the lineup, and they've got the best defensive infield in Major League Baseball. Right. Yunel Escobar, they got Troy Loney, they re-signed him. He's a good defensive player. Is he on the upside? A lot of people think he's on the downside offensively, but he's a heck of a defensive player. So they're very strong defensively. As of right now, if they keep Price, they certainly got an ace in the rotation, and they have a nice top-heavy offense. If they can get a little more offensive depth, and you know, who knows? Again, the speculation is they would trade Price for some prospects, but if they make a run at it, they can do just the opposite and maybe strengthen their lineup from top to bottom. They are another good dark horse. The big problem with them is they're in the best division in baseball.
Right. So before we move on to the NL East, at the current odds, to win the pennant, Boston plus 550, Yankees plus 650, Toronto plus 1050, Tampa Bay plus 1200, and Baltimore plus 1350. Which do you think has the most value?
Yeah, I will say, well, I think the best value is Toronto. Okay. But if you're asking me for a flat-out prediction, I would say the Yankees will buy the division.
Okay. No, Toronto plus 1050 is your choice for the best value. And you know what? I think I would agree with you. Thanks, Joe.